What's going on, guys? This is Ryan with RK Outpost, and Dave Filoni said a couple things over the past couple days because he's doing the rounds, doing interviews, because Clone Wars is coming back, guys. Clone Wars Season 7 on Disney+. Everybody's so excited about it. And he said some things about Ahsoka. And of course he did, because he loves Ahsoka. And just look at this headline. Star Wars, Clone Wars, Ahsoka still may not be dead after Rise of Skywalker cameo. And, this headline may be a little bit of an assumption going on, but Dave Filoni did speak about Ahsoka, and we know that already he has kept Ahsoka alive for longer than George Lucas ever intended her to be alive. George Lucas wanted her to die in Order 66. Dave Filoni, not so much.
I don't think it's a mystery that I've always been a bit more in the Ahsoka lives camp. And George has been very full on in the Ahsoka dies camp. I think I've said that before, if not revelation for you.
And once George Lucas was out of the picture and Disney had full control and Filoni had his way, Ahsoka did live. We know that has already happened. And in this interview, Dave Filoni even talks about Star Wars fans and how, wow, Star Wars fans must really not even watch Star Wars or understand it if they happen to think Ahsoka might be dead after hearing her voice with a bunch of other dead Jedi in The Rise of Skywalker. Who knows what tone he actually used with those words, but I will go over it and let you judge for yourself. But let's take a look at the actual interview that this Screen Rant article is quoting here. Not quite as aggressively titled, but here's what Dave Filoni had to say about Ahsoka Tano's voice in Rise of Skywalker. Just because Rey heard Ahsoka Tano's voice mixed in with a bunch of dead Jedi, it doesn't necessarily mean she's dead. Of course not. No one's ever really gone, right, Disney? That's the implication of the character's co-creator Dave Filoni gave IO9 when we spoke to him this week. To recap, right before Rey defeats Palpatine in The Rise of Skywalker, the end of the Palpatine saga, the Disney trilogy, all of that, she reaches out with the Force and hears the voices of several Jedi. Anakin, Obi-Wan, Mace Windu, Luminara, Aayla Secura, Yoda, Adi Gallia, Kanan, and Qui-Gon, all of whom are dead. She also hears Ahsoka Tano, a character who, as far as we know, never became an actual Jedi, and whose fate has yet to be revealed in a Star Wars story. Many fans believed her inclusion was proof that the former apprentice of Anakin Skywalker was now dead. And then now Filoni talks about Star Wars fans and how they're just so dumb that it's funny to Dave Filoni that they would think this. How dare people think that Ahsoka was dead? Here's what Dave Filoni says. I have to wonder with Star Wars fans. They seem to watch the movies, but they don't take all the lessons. They just consume it, right, Dave? They deal a lot in absolutes, which is very much a Sith thing. I remember in Empire Strikes Back, Luke speaking out through the Force to Leia. Vader also does this at the end of Empire Strikes Back. There's no absoluteness that these people are dead. I mean, some of them we know are dead. Well, all of them, actually, we do know are dead, except Ahsoka. Thankfully, Filoni still has more Ahsoka stories to tell, and they talked about Clone Wars. They actually asked him about this Rebels sequel series that everyone has been saying is coming in November, but we've got no official confirmation from Filoni or from Disney or from Lucasfilm, and he chuckled at it, saying, yeah, that'd be a big scoop if I told you something about that, right? So he's kind of playing coy. I do think it likely is going to happen. But I don't have really any big implications with what I'm doing with the character, to be honest, talking about Ahsoka. I just thought it was a really fun thing. JJ's instinct to be so inclusive with all these various elements of Star Wars and characters was great. Yeah, just a big bunch of fan service, a big mess of a movie. And I thought it would be a great thing for the actors involved to be part of something. It was just really celebrating this moment in the Star Wars saga. So I didn't think of it in a literal story way. The film, to me, is like a different area. And we do know that Dave has always had a funny relationship with continuity with Star Wars canon, so maybe that's why he sees it. He says he sees the film as a different area. He didn't think of it in a literal story way. So you just thought that it was at the end, they had a bunch of voices talk to Rey. It was just a story they were trying to... It wasn't a literal story, it was just part of a film. What exactly does that mean? He admitted to being surprised by the fan reaction, and said the reaction made him think even more seriously about its implications. And this is, listen, I have brought this tweet up multiple times because he tweeted this very shortly after Rise of Skywalker was released. This was on Christmas. He tweeted this picture with Ahsoka and Gandalf. Gandalf saying, "People thought I was dead too. Look how that turned out." Because Dave Filoni refuses to let this character die, refuses to let anything bad happen about this character, and everything he creates needs to involve this character. Maybe that's why he wasn't as invested in the Resistance show as we thought, because Ahsoka wasn't in it. Who knows? I always take from fan reactions that, wow, they really care about this character. They want to know the ins and outs of everything. So I take it with a real grain of respect because, well, we've got to figure these things out and how it works. And it is interesting that the voice is there. What does that mean? Well, everyone knows what it means. Everyone knows that the implication is that she is dead. That is the implication that they are giving us. Now, whether Disney wants to stick with it or not, does it even really matter? Does canon really matter? Does continuity really matter to those people? Probably not, because if Filoni can convince them to do some Ahsoka after Rise of Skywalker story, they're probably going to do it, because it will probably sell. So they'll just give Filoni what he wants, if I had to guess. It doesn't really affect what I'm doing, especially since I'm before it, he said, talking about doing Clone Wars and doing Rebels, potentially a Rebels sequel. So when we get to that point after Rise of Skywalker, or if we'd ever reach that point again, I don't know. I'm in this other timeline. I'm in a couple right now. I just honestly love that people ask about the character. To take it from where we did in 2008 to now is pretty exciting. It is. And we'll see the first pieces of it when Filoni brings back Star Wars The Clone Wars starting on Friday on Disney+. Can't wait. And they'll be publishing more about their interviews with Filoni over the next couple days. But I did think that was interesting. I didn't necessarily like the way Dave Filoni was talking about how these Star Wars fans, they all just watch this film with a bunch of dead people talking to Rey through the Force as if they were one with the Force, and they just assume that she was dead. Stupid Star Wars fans, right? Yeah, didn't really appreciate that too much. I'm sure that's not the tone that he was giving off. I'm sure he was playful. I'm sure there was nothing disrespectful about what Dave Filoni said at all. But it's just one more thing. Like I said, I played that clip at the beginning. We know that Ahsoka was always supposed to die, and she's now been made into this pet character who can do nothing wrong and nothing can happen to her. Dave Filoni won't even let her die. I mean, at that point, she would have been something around 70 years old. Yeah, sure, Togrutas do live longer than the average human, but who's to say something didn't happen to her? Why is it out of the realm of possibility for you? Why do you refuse to let her die? I'm not sure. But anyway, let me know what you guys think about this. What do you think about Dave Filoni's comments on it? Are you excited for Clone Wars coming up? Would you like to see Ahsoka be alive after the Rise of Skywalker? Even though she was clearly dead in the movie, at least to 99.9% of people. Let me know in the comments below. Make sure you smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, share this video out there, ring the bell for notifications, and I will talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching, everyone, and a huge shout out to my patrons. I appreciate you guys so much. Want to follow me on Twitter or Instagram? Check out the description below. You'll find links to my P.O. box and my Patreon as well. And I'll talk to you guys later.